It's time for an upgrade. In my T300 review video, I said that I was pretty happy with the wheel and not looking to upgrade at the moment. But sometimes a good deal just comes around and you have to take it. So, what did we pick up? Firstly, we have the Fanatec CSW 2.5. It's the last belt-driven wheelbase that Fanatec produced. It came out about 2017 and it's got a dual belt system that tries to mimic a DD as much as possible. Next up, we're not going to talk about them today, but I picked up a pair of Fanatec CSL Elite pedals with the load cell. Great pedal set. Review will be coming later. And finally, the Fanatec F1 Esports Formula rim, which is a rim that I'd actually really liked and been looking for a while. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about the wheelbase. So let's talk about it. So, as I mentioned before, this wheelbase was released all the way back in 2017 for about $550 just for the wheelbase. So, one, it's quite an old wheelbase, and two, it actually sold for $50 more than the CSL DD with the boost kit. Which begs the question, why did I buy this? In fact, if you go back to my review on the CSL DD, well, actually if you go back to any of my reviews, you'll see that I've been quite critical of Fanatec in the past, but yet now I've bought into their ecosystem. Let me explain. I don't have any hate towards Fanatec. They're a company that's really pushed sim racing hardware and sim racing to the masses, but as a product of that, they seem to have more customers than they can actually handle in this current climate. But back in 2017, Fanatec were a much smaller company, and you often heard far less outcry about the quality and durability of their products, and that culminated in the release of the CSW 2.5. This was all the years of Fanatec's belt-driven technology into one final wheel, and everything that they had learnt was used to improve this wheelbase. And clearly they were still a company that had a lot of time to care about their products. This is the reason that I felt comfortable in purchasing this wheelbase. Now the second reason is something that I've mentioned in other reviews. The second-hand market for sim racing equipment is so interesting right now. Many people in lockdown purchased gear, and since then they've decided that sim racing is just not for them. So I'm always on the second-hand market looking for a deal, and I managed to pick up the wheelbase, pedals and wheel for just about $400. It was just too good a deal to pass up, and plus I really wanted a set of load cell pedals. So enough waffle. What's the wheelbase actually like? Well, so far it's certainly been a bit of a mixed bag. On the one hand, when I get the wheelbase dialed in and feeling good, it's incredible. Coming from the 3 or so Newton meters of the T300, having 8 Newton meters is a great and huge difference, and certainly a welcome one. My issue is here, taking the time to get it dialed in is quite frustrating. It's definitely not plug and play, and most of the games straight out of the box, the settings are way worse than the T300. So it's taken some time, maybe a couple of weeks, but I'm finally at a point where I'm fully enjoying each game that I play with the wheelbase. I do now understand the frustrations of the guys at Rush Racing when they used to tell me that the Fanatec software was a little bit finicky. In principle, the software gives you great control and ease of setting up your wheel and wheelbase, plus having profiles that you can save is fantastic. In practice, it's not as easy as that. Now, obviously I've been dealing with Thrustmaster, which is very much plug and play, so I believe it's something I've just got to get used to now. For a belt-driven wheel, the CSW is probably one of the best I've used. The dual belt system provides extremely smooth force feedback and does a very good job of mimicking a direct drive. In fact, it feels very similar to the CSL DD. Obviously, it just doesn't provide you with as much detail and fidelity as the CSL DD does. I have still experienced some notchiness, but it's leaps and bounds above my T300, which I still think that's a very smooth wheelbase. The extra strength has really brought in some enjoyment. Having to really wrestle a rally car down a dirt road is extremely fun, but I think it's unlikely that I'd run it at full power, as after a while I have started to experience some slight strains on my shoulder after extended use. This could also be down to my seating position though. A huge plus for me with switching to Fanatec was the quick release system. Yes, on Thrustmaster you technically can switch wheels, but it's an absolute pain in the ass. With the wheels that I have here on Fanatec, it's extremely easy, and for someone that does a lot of different driving, it's nice just to be able to quickly switch over to another discipline and wheel. Heat-wise and noise, I so far haven't had any issues. I run it in a fairly cool room and it's got plenty of room to breathe, so I can't see myself having any issues in the future with this. Personally, I don't notice the noise with headphones on, but if you ask Jess, she has said that this wheelbase is definitely louder than the last one. So that's maybe something to think about. Now, I've done a lot of talking here about an old wheelbase that probably has 1,000 reviews on YouTube already, so maybe this is a bit pointless to most people. But where I think that people can find some value in this review is that if you don't want to go out and spend so much money, but you still want to upgrade in one way or another. At the moment, to get the premium CSL bundle with Fanatec will cost you around $1,000. It's an 8Nm base with wheel and load cell pedals, whereas I paid less than half of that to get arguably a nicer wheel and pedals. My point here is that you don't necessarily have to go out and buy everything brand new. The second-hand market for sim racing is huge now, and you can really bag yourself a deal. And guess what? You'll probably receive it in a few days instead of a few months. Now, you do miss out on warranty and customer support, but sometimes you just have to take the gamble to save a bit of cash, so finger crossed my gear holds together. All in all, the Fanatec CSW 2.5 is a great wheelbase, and has provided me with a really decent upgrade package from my Thrustmaster setup. Now, with many great wheelbases out there, including a lot of great, reasonably priced direct drive wheels, I don't think I could hand on heart recommend it for anywhere near full price. But if you can find it in a bundle with some extra goodies for a decent price, yeah, maybe take a punt on it. You won't be disappointed. So there we go, a little review on the new gear on the rig that I have. Hope you enjoyed that. I know it's an interesting review with it being very, very old equipment, but you know, we work with what we've got. If you'd like to see a review of the pedals or each of the wheels individually, why not leave me a comment and let me know. But that will do it for the video today. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to keep up with everything else I'm doing, the links will be down in the description below. And until I see you on the next video, goodbye.